My name is Connor, and at the age of 13, I was statutory R-worded by a popular TikTok influencer.
We both liked each other, and then we realized that the ages were too different. Nothing happened between us besides kissing.
So I'm just scared that Amber's gonna go live and try to say that Connor and I and then Cody was texting me saying that he has proof that we did and shit when he doesn't. Nobody has proof of it. Because we did it in secret.
Today's video is about a situation that actually took place 4 years ago. Now, I know what you're thinking. 4 years ago, it's old news, but don't click off because I wouldn't be making the video if it was just about something that happened 4 years ago. There has been a massive update on this situation. So 4 years ago, a TikTok influencer with 20 million followers was allegedly friends with a boy of just 13. Now, the TikTok influencer Zoe Laverne said that nothing ever happened between them, and we're going to hear her saying that.
We both liked each other, and then we realized that the ages were too different. Nothing happened between us besides kissing, and I'm saying that now. I'm really sick of people thinking that we did other stuff besides kiss. There's a video going around of people saying that it's me and Connor, and it's of these two people doing something
But the change is the fact that the boy at the centre of this, Connor Joyce, who was just 13 at the time, is now 18 years old, and he has decided it's time for the truth to come out. And he even admits in his video that when he was 13, he lied to the police. So this is going to be a bit of a tough watch. It's going to contain things that you probably are going to get extremely angry about. You're going to be raging, and I'm going to give you a trigger warning. It is about what you possibly think it's about between a 19 and a 13-year-old. It's too early in the video to say anything other than that, but I'm sure you can pick up what I'm putting down. So let's buckle up and let's go.
awful for it, and I wasn't in the right state of mind. I was going through a lot, and I really just wanted to find happiness, and I really just wanted to be happy. And Connor was my best friend, still is, even though we can't talk. He's still my best friend, and he made me happy in many different ways, and I made him happy in many different ways. We both were really close and caught feelings, and didn't really understand what was going on. And even though people would say well, you're old enough to realize it's wrong, I just wanted to be happy.
You just wanted to be happy. You're 19, he's 13. You know it is wrong. The fact that you want to be happy is totally immaterial. And let's face it, if it was the other way around, if he was 19 and you were 13, I'm sure the internet would treat it in a whole different way, and so would the authorities.
And it's not an excuse, and I'm not trying to make excuses about it. It's just me telling the truth and how I felt, and I just didn't know what else to say and know what else to do. And a lot of influencers are bashing me for it, and that's okay. You guys have every right to. I'm embarrassed for my actions, and you guys have every right to be upset with me, and you guys have every right to dislike me, because it happens. You make mistakes, and you learn.
That's a damn sight more than just a mistake, in my opinion.
And you live. And I know that I'm not the only person that has been put in this position before and has made the same mistakes and choices as me.
You weren't put in that position. You created that position.
And if there's any people out there that are having a relationship with a minor or doing things that shouldn't be done, please realize that it's not right.
So now you're actually admitting, Zoe, that you were having an inappropriate relationship with Connor. This young man, Connor, has now gathered up the courage to say his side of the story, and he has been trying to get justice for years, and he is still in therapy trying to get on with his life and cope with the situation that took place.
My name is Connor, and at the age of 13, I was statutory R-worded by a popular TikTok influencer. This happened 5 years ago, and I'm sure that a lot of you are familiar with the situation, and it's taken me a while to come to terms to talk about it.
That is completely understandable from what we're going to hear that allegedly happened to you. I would imagine it would take quite a few years for any victim as young as you to realise just what happened.
It's taken me a very long time to talk about this solemnly because of the backlash I have received from the media, because I still am in high school and I still am a minor. But third of all, because I was trying to press legal action against her and I didn't want my case to be tampered with due to my social media posts. For starters, I was a fan. I did join her fan base in 2018. I had a fan page and everything. And I went on a tour stop in Washington, D.C. in 2018 to meet her for the very first time.
Connor starts off as just being a fan of Zoe, and he is a fan of hers for quite a few years before he meets her for the first time. And he goes to live meet and greets and he does meet her a few times. But not only that, they start becoming friends on Snapchat and having little conversations. And there are chats that take place in a group setting online between Zoe, Connor, and other people, which is all good when it's in a group setting like that. But unfortunately, it doesn't stay like that. It soon ends up with it just being Zoe and Connor. And Zoe's then boyfriend at the time finds this quite strange, which anybody would, wouldn't they? Having a 19-year-old girlfriend being very friendly with a 13-year-old boy. Well, they split up, Zoe and her boyfriend, and then Zoe and her friend move from where they're living to where Connor lives. And then things go from bad to worse.
Now, over the time of 2018 to 2019, she would talk to fans that I ended up becoming friends with. We had mutual friends, and I was then introduced to her through, she added me on Snapchat, and we would talk every now and then. It was all kept to a normal, cordial level. Now, in August of 2019, she had a tour stop in my hometown that I went to, which I went with two of my friends, and after the show, I was talking with her. She brought me upstairs to see the venue. It was more of a secluded thing from the rest of the people that were there to attend. I also attended another one in December of 2019, so by the third time of me meeting her in person, she knew who I was just based off of seeing me. Now in 2020, I still was keeping it going with this fan page, and I had a lot of mutual friends that talked to her, and we would all FaceTime and group FaceTimes, but slowly it started sectoring off to just private FaceTime calls between the two of us.
This is starting to give me creepy Colleen Ballinger vibes. What about you? Does it give you that feeling as well?
In April of 2020, things did start to get a little more personal. It was causing issues between her and her ex-boyfriend, Cody. Was concerned about things. About 2 weeks later, the first week of June, when her and her ex-boyfriend had broken up, and she was in Tennessee at the time with her friend Amber, which then they both drove out here instantly to come visit me. Now, I was under the impression that they were only coming to visit for a week, but because they had both just gotten fresh out of relationships, they both made the decision to move here for a fresh start. Now, prior to her coming and visiting me, she did discuss with me on the phone that she liked me. I thought she was messing around. I thought it was just a funny little prank. She told me
That is a red flag right there. But because you're only 13, you're not going to see it for what it ends up being.
That she liked me, and that when she came to visit me in May, she wanted to hold my hand. She wanted to, kind of be more intimate. Now, at the time that she had came here, I had just turned 13, maybe a week prior. I had a very close friend group at the time that I would talk to, that I had voiced about being a little uncomfortable with the fact of knowing that she liked me and her still coming here. But I was under the impression I only had to see her for a week, so I was in fear of, if anything were to go wrong, I only have to deal with her for a week and I can move along and not speak to her again. Now, because she did make the ultimate decision to come and move here, we continued to get closer and closer and closer. Now, in June, she did kiss me. She did start to get more personal. She would try to seclude me off from my friends, from my family, try to get me away, whatever. Now, if you were on social media back in this timeline, you could see that I defended her for everything she was ever accused for, canceled for, etc. I was so strung up and just trying to process real life because someone that I'd idolized for years was now living in my hometown, was somebody that was becoming my best friend, someone very close to me. And I was so caught up in just, wow, how is this real? That I wasn't paying attention to what was actively happening to me in the time being. Now, she kissed me, and as time went on, things started picking up to a worse and worse level. She would engage in sexual conversations with me, sending me pictures, calling me on the phone, doing things on the phone with me, etc. Now, keep in mind, I still was very highlighted by the fact that this girl was in my life because it was a surreal thing to me, that I was too afraid to speak up and have her hate me and wonder where things would end up. And a lot of people ask where my parents were at this time, but growing up, I've been bullied all throughout middle school ever since I was younger. I didn't have a lot of friends, so straight off the bat, my parents thought that this was a good thing, and seeing how happy it made me from the start, that they thought that it would be a good thing for us to become friends and for us to be hanging out, whatever. There was obviously a lot of restrictions on things. My mom would question things at times. She never thought that it was not weird, but I gave her that reassurance that things were fine. Now, I specifically remember there was one specific day that we were hanging out and I was at her house, and she had kind of just thrown herself on top of me and asked me if I was ready. My heart was beating super fast, and I still specifically remember her asking me, "Are you okay? Like, your heart's beating super fast, are you okay?" And I was in a moment of shock. I never thought things would ever evolve to this level. This girl had 20 million followers. I knew she had a career on the line. I always told myself she would never, ever do anything to mess with her career or ruin her career. In this moment, I was in a state of shock. She asked me if I was okay and if I wanted to, and I responded with yes, although my body language was very obvious that I was uncomfortable with the situation. This was a continuous event that continued to happen over and over again. And when things were publicized back in October of 2020, I had talked to authorities and I lied to the police for her. Now, back in October of 2020, when things were publicized on the internet, I did talk to authorities and I did lie to the police because I was heavily manipulated and I was still in a sense of trying to protect her. She had gotten into my brain so deep that she had told me if she went to jail for what she did, that she would off herself. And being only 13 years old, and again, this is someone you idolize and you look up to, that is going to mess with your head. After this, they thought it wasn't a threat, they moved along, and Zoe still tried to pursue a relationship with me because she thought she was in the clear. She would make fake Snapchat accounts to contact with me. My mom cut off contact with us, and she would still make accounts to have desires to speak to me. Now, after this incident, it has been 5 years, and I was bullied out of school, I was harassed, I was assaulted, my family was harassed, I had false CPS reports, my house has been attempted to be swatted, my address was leaked. I've had to face so many repercussions because of this girl. Now, I want to make it clear that I have tried to come out about my story and seek legal justice since then, and they have made every excuse they possibly could to not give me the justice that I deserve. I showed up with receipts, I showed up with proof, I showed up with everything, and they still did not want to believe me. The authorities had told me straight to my face that they had thought this was all conducted under a publicity stunt and we were doing this for views and attention, completely disregarding the straight laws and the straight proof that was right in front of their face. My case was dragged out for almost a year of just back and forth between we can do something, we can't, we can, we can't. It's a very deteriorating feeling though to still face repercussions for a situation I was a victim in from 5 years ago still to this day, while the person is walking free and can't even take the accountability to own up to what she did to me. As well as her friend Amber that lived here with her told me that she would testify for me and speak out for me because she lived there and watched everything happen.
So I'm just scared that like Amber's gonna go live and try to say that Connor and I like, and then Cody was texting me saying that he has proof that we did and shit when he doesn't. Like nobody has proof of it because we did it in secret.
And then proceeded to ghost the police and ghost me and not help me with my case, period. Now, I will be making a part 2 to show all of the evidence that I do have to back up my claims because these are very serious allegations and I'm not lying on anything that I'm saying. If you take a rewind back to lives that she had went on speaking about this back in the timeline, it is very obvious that she is guilty for a lot more than she was speaking about. I do appreciate all of you guys' support throughout the past years, and I'm sorry for all the time that it has taken, but it has taken me a lot of courage and time to finally be at peace to speak up about this while I'm still facing therapy after 5 strong years.
All of that was video 1, and he has put out a second video, and in this one he shows us all of the receipts.
Into words without this being taken down, I just want you guys to picture an adult relationship with everything involved as well as the sexual factors. Majority of the sexual things you can think of off the top of your head very much so did occur. And before I dive into actually showing the evidence, I do want to state that this was all given to the police and I was still shut down and told that she was an attractive girl and am I sure that I didn't like it or enjoy it. I also do want to clarify that whether I gave in the time or not, I still was only 13 years old and legally it was not the age of consent. Therefore, still does not make it anywhere near okay. I was also harassed and bullied out of school. I spent all of my high school years doing online school and I just now returned to in-person this year for my senior year because I wanted to have at least 1 year that I could remember and look back on my childhood years. I still am in therapy, still facing the trauma of this, and I will continue to face the trauma for this for the rest of my life. A lot of things people don't realize is that you are made off of your childhood, and when you experience such gruesome sexual trauma as a child, it is only going to continue to affect me more and more the older that I get. So this video that I'm about to show is a video of her on the phone with mutual friends of mine after everything had happened and when polygraphs were being threatened for a lie detector test. This was her explaining how to lie on it.
Listen, if you're allowed a polygraph, what I gotta do is just like when they ask you the question, think of the question as them asking like, did you sleep with your dad? Then your heart won't fucking race. I was like, what the fuck? So I'm just scared that like Amber's gonna go live and try to say that Connor and I like, and then Cody was texting me saying that he has proof that we did and shit when he doesn't. Like nobody has proof of it because we did it in secret.
This right here is her admitting that she indeed did take my innocence, but there was no proof of it because we obviously didn't record it. My messages were on the top, commenting on how Zoe has literally messed me up so bad mentally and destroyed me as a person. And when my friends were going to come stay here for a week, I was voicing I was scared to spend the night in a hotel with her. This was me texting my friend saying, how do I get myself out of this? I'm very uncomfortable. And also that she let off a little bit and it wasn't as bad as it was before.
By the way, y'all sound kind of stupid when you try to say Connor's dad because he can't even produce that type of stuff.
Oh my god.
He's not old enough. He's not old enough.
This message was her saying, don't make me S your D again, which I think we can all infer what this means. These were TikToks that she had made directly from her account. As well as this very disturbing one. You guys can pause to read these, but this is her telling me that she's been risking her reputation for liking me and that she doesn't want to go to jail, as well as stressing that there were being other videos sent around of us. Thing weird about this. In this screenshot, you can see that she's laughing about it, saying, haha, I'm going to jail. Do you guys think prison has designer? Talk that she had me. Which this right here is another angle of her directly, pulling it up and showing it on FaceTime. This one you can pause and read, but this was her closest friend at the time who literally had stated that she could go to jail for knowing about it and not doing anything, and the top half is covered for privacy and personal reasons. This is another one, her stating that she was harming herself because I said some mean things to her, and that she told me that she would bleed dry for me, which is very, very manipulative, as well as would send me pictures of her self-harm. I do want to say that there is more evidence behind this. I obviously just can't fit it onto one video. TikTok will only allow me to update 35 items into the video, but I do want to say that there is a lot more that specifically shows, but this in itself right here I think clarifies well enough that it was a lot more than just a kiss.
At the time of recording this video, Zoe has not replied in any way, shape, or form. She has made a few videos, but none of them mention Connor in them, and incidentally, all of her comments are turned off. Wonder why that is. The kind of content that Zoe puts out is all aimed at children. So that gives me an icky vibe knowing what we know now. I did have to think about things for quite a while to decide if I was going to make this video. But on this channel, I like to bring things to light that happen. Now, this poor boy was only 13 and in middle school at the time, and he is trying to get justice. Well, I hope in some way by me and other creators bringing this to light that something will happen, because at the moment Zoe is just going on with her life in a merry little way and having no consequences at all, and in my opinion that needs to stop. Thank you for watching the video. If you found it informative at any point, hit the like button, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye for now.